Go for it.
There is a story that has won over the hearts of so many people that the book has been deemed the second most translated book in the entire world. That book is Le Petit Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, or The Little Prince. So, The Little Prince has a lot of valuable lessons that are for all ages, because it is a children's book, but it does apply to adults. The book shows how children see the world with no bounds, but once you grow older, you start to see it a little differently. So we all need reminders of certain things. So the book has 3 lessons that are my favorite. One about creativity, one about exploration, and one about love. But first you might be asking, who is the Little Prince? First of all, the pilot is the protagonist and the narrator of the story. He crashed his plane in the Sahara Desert and is stranded. And the Little Prince is also the protagonist, and he's a traveler, and he's walking through the Sahara Desert too, and he's an actual child from another planet. So, in chapter 1, we see this drawing. Does anyone know what this is?
A hat?
No.
It's a snake.
Is this a
So,
snake?
it's a
It
snake.
eats something.
The pilot, when he was younger, he drew this, and adults thought it was a hat. And he was upset that they misunderstood because he read a book as a child where he saw a boa constrictor swallow an elephant. So he decided to draw it out again and see if they understood, and they thought it was silly and told him to focus on more important things like arithmetic or geography. And that caused him to feel disdain towards other adults and give up his career as a painter and become a pilot. But in chapter 2, the Little Prince came up to him while he was stranded in the desert and asked him to draw sheep. But he's never drawn anything else besides this, so he just draws the first drawing, and the Little Prince understands that it's a snake swallowed, an elephant that swallowed a snake. So, with that, the lesson in chapters 1 and 2 is to never give up on your creativity, because it'll bring more quality to life, and there will always be someone who understands. And as they go on farther in the book, they start traveling from planet to planet and end up on their 6th planet, planet B330. And on 330, there's a geographer who's writing books. And the Little Prince asks him what he's writing, and he says that he's a scholar who knows where the seas are, and the rivers, and the cities, and the mountains, and the deserts. So he asks, where are all those places? But the geographer has no idea, because he's not an explorer. Explorers come to him and tell him about different places, and their proof is rocks from those places. And the Little Prince doesn't understand and thinks it's completely stupid. So the lesson in chapter 15 is that we need to leave our comfort zones, or we'll never experience the wonders of the world. Now, in chapter 21, farther down in the book, they are back on Earth, and the Little Prince meets a fox, and he wants to play with the fox, but the fox won't play with him unless he tames him. And the Little Prince doesn't know what that means, and he says it's to create ties. Since they just met, they don't matter to each other at all, and they don't need each other. But the fox explains that to tame someone, you have to go to the same spot at the same time on the same day every week, and you sit far apart from each other. But as you go on each time, you sit closer to each other and closer to each other until you gain a bond. And every time it gets closer to that time, the fox will get more excited. And at the end of the chapter, the fox says that you are responsible for what you've tamed forever. So the lesson in chapter 21 is that love takes patience and responsibility, and any relationship with a strong emotional connection is a team effort, and your actions will affect the people you love for the rest of their lives. So I just went over my 3 favorite lessons in The Little Prince about never giving up your creativity, leaving your comfort zone, and how every close relationship is a responsibility. And this book was very important to me, even when I read it in English, because when I read it in French, and that was the original language, it held a lot. And even in English, it translates like beautifully, and it has over 300 translations. So if you want to read the book, you can buy it, or if you're a broke student like me, there's plenty of free versions online. I don't know how legal it is, but they're there.